Today we are sitting in the car because we're at a storage unit waiting on something. Long stories, probably not that important. But what we're gonna go over is some information that I think is important and you think is important, that it's kind of a learning lesson. Maybe we can help somebody else out thinking about doing this, is that we are a married couple. We're married now. We're married for 2 years, very, very close. And we've been working together for about a year and a half. Year and a half now, and we've learned so much in this year and a half. Number one, about being newlyweds and starting a business and quitting jobs and being, this is like our sole money maker in the beginning was eBay. YouTube came in on the back end a little bit now, obviously, and but still, that's still something that we have to do together. And so we're gonna go over some tips and tricks and stuff that we've learned about being full-time resellers and being married and doing it out of the same house. Like, we don't have a warehouse, we don't have a separate place of business, we don't have a storefront where I can go to do stuff, right?
What?
Yeah. So what is your first tip or trick or something we've learned about being a married couple running a reselling business?
So I think number one for me is gonna be have business meetings with both of you. You sit down, you talk about, you know, different things that's going on, different opportunities that you guys are thinking about, and just make sure that you guys stay on the same page. I know it's like common sense. It's like, oh, well, we'll just work it out and we'll go with the flow. But you have to sit down and have business meetings, even if it's once a week, or once a month,
or once an hour.
Once an hour, yeah, anytime. But you have to have those business meetings so you both stay on the same page.
Yeah, because it wouldn't work. Like, to work it out doesn't really work for us because we're so busy in like certain things that we do, and things have to be, we call it feeding the monster. What do you?
Feeding the monsters.
Yeah, feeding the monsters. So we have monsters that we have to feed. eBay, whatnot, YouTube. The booth.
They're good monsters, don't get me wrong. But they're still monsters that have to be fed. That's
right. So we have to sit down, usually on a daily basis, I would say. Like, on a daily basis, we'll sit down and say, you know, when the work day's basically over, we'll say, what are we doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right? Like, get a kind of a game plan. Now, it can change throughout that day, obviously. Yeah. But almost like you have to, because this is not like, when you would go to the hospital, you knew what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Correct? You knew, okay, I have to go ahead and go to do this, and your day's planned out for you. When you're self-employed, none of that is planned out for you at all. You can lay in bed until 10 o'clock or wake up at 6 and already have worked for 4 hours. So there's just a whole bunch that has to be thought about. And then having two people do it that are newlyweds, just get spirited sometimes because we all got different ideas.
Yeah. We have like little what are it, fusses, but we call them business meetings.
Business meetings.
That's all they are, business meetings. So the next thing that I have is know that you both might work differently. You both might have different work styles. You know, somebody may work better in the morning than they do at night. One might work better at night than they do in the morning. I mean, you know, like, we have different styles of working together, and we've sat down and we've talked about it. It took us a while to figure out each other as far as how we work, but with that, we take each other into consideration, and we're like, okay, well, he works this way, so this is why he's doing this, or I am doing something and this is the way that I do it because I work better that way. And we just understand, like, organization, that's just one. Like, I have to be organized in order to work. I have to have like a very clean workspace, which you do too, in a sense.
My room is spotless.
Yeah. But you just have to take each other into consideration when you're working together.
Yeah, like, I am a get up at 7 o'clocker, 6 o'clocker, and I usually don't want to be working at 8 p.m. unless we're doing a whatnot show. Like, at 8 p.m. I'm done. Like, you know, I've already worked like 12, 14 hours, and I'm pretty much sitting on the sofa with some popcorn watching some YouTube. You, on the other hand, like last night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock rolls around, you started your day slightly later than me, but you were cleaning rings at like 9:30.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm not going to do. And before, like we didn't understand each other, I'd be like, what are you doing? And then you'd be like, why do you get up so early? Because when you're self-employed, you can do whatever you want, and that's the thing.
As long as things get done.
As long as things get done.
And the work day is getting done, then it doesn't really matter how you work.
As long as it gets done within that 24-hour period of what you wanted to get done, then you're pretty much good to go.
Right. The next one, I think, is you have to have some sort of work schedule. I know some people don't really have to have a schedule, but I have found that if you do sit down and have some kind of a schedule planned out, it does work best for us because we kind of know what each other's doing. We don't step on each other's toes. We don't, say, well, I got to go do this. Well, I thought we were going to do this. Like, it cuts out the confusion, and you know what the plan is going forward.
Yeah, so each of you almost have to have like a little job when it comes to that, and that's when it comes down to like communication is key. The other day we have 47 items have to be shipped out. 31 of them were whatnot orders that I believe are actually easier to ship than eBay orders, because they're usually got multiple in there and they're kind of small. That's where we kind of stay on whatnot. Small, easy to ship items, not a lot of glass. And then we had 19 eBay orders, and you were like, hey, I'll go ahead and ship the eBay orders if you get the whatnot orders done, because the whatnot stuff is ran in my room for the big shows, and the jewelry shows are ran in your room. When I say that, we have 2 working rooms in our house.
Yes, and that's going to be my next
I don't want to take it out of here. No, dog, I ain't taking it yet. Go ahead, go ahead.
So the next thing that I have is, if you can, have your own workspace. So we have a 3-bedroom house, and then we do have our garage, which you mainly work out of the garage some because, the car and tinkering on stuff in the garage. So you have your eBay room is what we call it, and where he does his YouTube editing and stuff like that. And then I have my room where, like, I do my jewelry. I ship and pack all the items that I need to do, and just have 2 different workspaces. That's a big one, for sure. Yeah. I like my space. I love you. I do. Yeah. But sometimes I have to have, because I know how my room is set up. I don't know how his room is set up. So I can't go in his room and function because I don't know where anything is. So it's just nice to have a separate workspace.
Yeah, and I agree 100% is that you need your own workspace because, yeah, we do set up our rooms completely different. Yours has, like, your places are different. So if I go in your room, it's like I'm walking into this craziness. It's, like, organized, but it's not organized to how mine is. If I go in my room, I know exactly where each one of my cameras are, all the GoPro stuff. Everything is, like, laid out where I know where it is. So it functions a lot faster. Again, we don't have kids. So a 3-bedroom house, we have, obviously, the main master bedroom. But then, like, the 2 other bedrooms and 1 bathroom is completely consumed by this business. And a half of the garage is completely consumed by this business. So it does take up a lot of space, and we do have 2 storage units.
Yes.
Completely consumed by this business. So it does take up a ton of space.
So the next one I have is try to have different assigned jobs if you can. One of the things is Julian doesn't really like to take packages to the post office, which is fine
stand it.
Because I don't mind it. I like the little drive to the post office and things, and I have a routine to where I know what I'm doing, so I just go ahead and get that done, and he doesn't have to worry about it. Can you think of anything else that we...
I solely do all the YouTube stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I do everything.
Editing.
Yep. Any type of editing or keeping cameras charged, knowing when batteries are going dead, knowing when batteries are like ending their life. Like we had like the blue top GoPro batteries. They're pretty much all of those are gone at this point. So I do all that stuff, all YouTube, anything related to YouTube or social media other than posts, I do.
And like the jewelry show,
yep,
that's like solely mine. Like I do all of the jewelry stuff. I get all prepared for the jewelry show, for whatnot, and then you don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
So it's different. It's nice to have different jobs so you kind of know where where you're going to spend your time as far as the things that you need to get done that day, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like if it's a day where we know that I have to edit a lot, that's when you jump on eBay and make sure, you know, we get to 15 listings or 20 listings. And so if a day
Right.
I know that you have to do your whatnot jewelry, I'll make sure that the 15 to 20 listings are up on eBay.
Right.
Packing we usually tackle together. We usually help each other pack, but in different rooms. Gotta have the different rooms there about the packing, because I don't know if you've packed with another person. Sometimes it gets a little Western, right?
Well, it depends on how big the room is, I guess, too.
That one room is pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one room is pretty small. So, but that's about it. Is there anything else that we can think of that is important?
There probably is, but we'll have to save that for another video.
So that's really not too bad. Also, obviously, when you're married, you know, the insurance is a big thing.
Right.
And we like quit our jobs not knowing. I mean, we knew that you could buy insurance, but we just didn't realize the expense of it is very expensive. And especially if you have children, I can't imagine how much you'd be paying for private insurance. It's doable. Trust me. There's a lot of money out there. I always say that you can make $1 million a million ways. But just know that this is our sole business, right? So we have to pay private insurance, and it does get a little bit expensive for a married couple, and then it's even more expensive if you had children. And Willow doesn't classify, so we're okay with that. And but she's also not a deduction on our taxes either. So
yeah, and just be patient with each other. That's really the number one thing that I have, is just be patient.
Right, yeah. We threw a lot at each other, like, when we first, not, like, physically, but, like, mentally threw a lot at each other, because, like, we got married. Obviously, you moved in when we got married. You weren't living there prior. Right. So it was, like, you moved in, 2020 happened. I quit my job, actually, 2019. And then you quit your job like 6 months later.
Yeah, we had COVID going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there, a lot of stress, because the first 2 years weren't that good for us at all, and business related. So it is a lot, but I'm telling you right now, it is doable if you're like, man, I really want to be a full-time reseller and I'm going to go out there and do this with my spouse. It's doable.
Yes.
You better have a seatbelt though, and an airbag.
And if you are a spiritual person, pray a lot.
Pray a lot. Amen to that. We are ending this video because I think the people that we're meeting are going to pull up here in a second. We'll catch you on the next one.